Hej på dig and welcome to Swedish Svartsmetall Timmen. Sorry, that is black metal time. What I have here is the fourth album by a Swedish black metal band, Ofermod. And this one, my friends, is a really curious case. Technically, fourth album, 2020 release, but what it is inside is an album that was already recorded in 2005. Now, Ofermod is one of those bands that have experienced, say, a lot of chaos, a lot of different things throughout the years, including prison trips and whatever. But on this review, I will just focus on the music here. There are a couple of surprises inside, and I will tell you a little bit more now that I know a little bit more. But let's start with the fact it's a double CD, and the difference is, as you can hopefully see while this zooms enough, is that while the track list and length is exactly the same, the other one is called Moloch version and the other is Belphegor version. It gets a little bit tricky. So one CD on this side of the digipack and one this side, and in the middle you will find the recording information, the lineup information and all that. And then we obviously have the booklet right in the middle, which then again features this rather, I'm sorry to say, but kind of a horrible album cover once again. Obviously it's a face of Mr. Belphegor made into this kind of a black and white Xerox copied version, but it doesn't really change the fact that for an album cover, it's kind of a horrible. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Maybe you will like what you see. And lyrics are of course printed here, but kind of a hard font to camera zoom in properly. Then again, it's not like you're reading the lyrics here, right? Anyway, let's go for the band's Metal Archive site to give you a little bit of more information. As you can see, that is, if you can see, I don't know, depending which kind of screen you're using for watching the review or if just listening. But here on Metal Archive site, you will find information about Mr. Mainman Belphegor's, Mika Hakola's information about going to prison back and forth. And that has obviously changed a little bit the pattern here. Now, what makes this album, the fourth one, like I said here, Pentagrammaton, very interesting is that you will see disc 1 once again having Moloch version and disc 2 having Belphegor version. And this is, I guess, because, you know, these prison trips obviously have changed lineup. Also, what I got information from the label is that at some point there was Malign band's Nord doing some of the vocals, but whatever the case here is, it seems like this one features vocals from Moloch, and in case you wondering who is this guy, he is Tate and Blood and previously Proclamation guy doing the vocals, whereas Belphegor, then again, is the kind of a main man of the band, if you will, Mika Hakola. And he has his other projects and ventures as well. And obviously there are some other members like drummer and bass player in the band. So all in all, quite an interesting story, and one could even make this bold claim that the band's most interesting stories are not related to music, but what happens beyond the boundaries of a musical band. But we're here to discuss the music, talk about that stuff. Now, if I was a cynical bastard, which I too often am, I guess, I would say there's nothing original, nothing out of ordinary on this album when it comes to defining Swedish black metal. That is melodic, quite fast tempo, energetic, very dark and sinister black metal. You've heard the story since early 90s. I mean, Dark Funeral, Dissection, bands like that, Mörgryning, they all have gone basically through the same patterns. It's kind of a Swedish melody is what makes the Swedish black metal so interesting and good. But if you're allergic to one band, it's likely that the whole domino play is gonna fall down like, you know, if you don't know what a domino is, don't start asking me. Anyway, the point here is, it is both the forte and the weakness in the same package. You either love the melodics and the evil, sinister feeling what is going on. It's very dark and it's kind of like ominous. You're like, hey, there's something like a deep black cavern, and I don't want to dare to go into it, because this is a portal to different dimensions, either metaphysically or spiritually, or just because your wild imagination. But it's right there, and this conjures very interesting imagination forth. There are thoughts which kind of give you like, hey, I really get this feeling, even though you might not be a spiritual person, much like me, I am not. But still, there is something kind of, I dare to say, magical in this kind of music. These kind of melodies totally feel like it is the hands of, I don't know, Lucifer Advocate or something creating these kind of music. And it seems to be a pattern that is so much, I wouldn't say copied, but done with so many bands. But like I said, it's very, very Swedish sounding, and obviously, even though there are lots of melodic bands throughout, whole world, you will get different feeling if it's Canadian melodics or some from France. And I happen to be one of those persons, one of the people who really like what the Swedish melodies are all about. So for me, Ofermod is a good band, and Pentagrammaton might very well be one of the best releases of the band, even if maybe the best. Now, I've enjoyed the previous albums, what I've heard. I haven't heard every release by the band, but I think it's one of those bands which is very, very solid in quality. So once you kind of like one album, you are kind of bound to like each and every one of the releases right there. It's not changing too much, but it's very, very consistent in what they do, and as such, well, I think they're doing a fine job. And when it comes to the production of the album, it's very, very solid. It's, once again, not very original, because it's kind of typical in so many ways. Swedish black metal, it's not really raw, but it's not mainstream, pure and clean either, but somewhere in between. Something that most of us, I guess, would say a black metal sound is supposed to sound like. But now the twist of the here in this story is that you have two vocalists, and you have two CDs, both featuring one of these vocalists, and you might be expecting like, yeah, they're supposed to be very, very different from each other. And I wish I could say, yeah, they are. But it's not like you have one CD with, or LP with clean vocals or very, very different kind of vocals, but more like two talented guys doing black metal vocals, resulting them being rather close to each other. I mean, there are differences, surely, but they're not that big. Not in my opinion, anyway. Like, first I was listening to these albums, like, one at a time, like finishing one, then switching again, and all that stuff. And it really didn't resonate with me, like, what's going on? Like, why this has? So I was actually asking the label, like, what's going on with these CDs? Because, I mean, it's not mentioned here, and just by listening to that, it doesn't really sound that different. Maybe I am deaf. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. That's totally possible. But to me, it didn't really resonate like, for example, like, hey, one album is featuring Attila Czar of Mayhem, and the other one is featuring, I don't know, Nocturno Culto from Darkthrone. It's not that big a difference. There are differences, but I don't know if it justifies having two CDs. Maybe it is because the band wanted to be like that. Maybe it's one of those things that for the band it's very, very important. For fan, not so much. I don't know. You figure it out. Anyway, the point here being, this one is a good album, and it's a nice double CD digipack. There's also double vinyl versions out there, so whatever you prefer, go out. Has been out since June 22nd, 2020. So, 6 months old, still quite fresh. Go check it out. Links are provided for you to enjoy some Ofermod, and in case you like the music, go for the physical. That's my advice. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon.